Over the past 5 drafts, the NFL and NBA has ushered in so much generational talent that has taken the game by storm in such a short amount of time. It seems like with every draft class, the talent in both leagues just gets richer and richer. Young players seem to make a better and larger impact than in years past, getting to run the league way earlier. So I've decided to take on the task of ranking every draft class of the past 5 years from the NBA and NFL combined. Which draft class has been the most impactful and talented in their short time in the league? This is just the intro video, as each combined draft class will get their own video. I will include the 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 draft classes. I will go over how I evaluate and compare these draft classes in a mathematical way to determine which wave of next generational players are the best. If you guys are excited to follow this series, make sure to like and subscribe. The first thing I will look at when comparing these draft classes is talent. Just pure talent in the NFL and NBA. How much superstar talent has each draft class produced is what I'm looking for at first. Next here, I'm looking for the players that I think can take the leap into superstar that are just great players right now. And lastly, I'm looking at the role players of the draft classes. With these 3 tiers, I'm able to break down a mass amount of viable players into sensible tiers so we can all comprehend it. Due to the amount of players I have to go through, it makes it easier and more tangible to see how my rankings are broken down. A superstar is someone in the NBA that can be considered a top 20 to 25 player, and in the NFL is someone around top 5 in their position. A star is considered to be an all-star or Pro Bowl level player, and anything below that is role player / promising young player. Every superstar is worth 5 points, each star is worth 3 points, and every role player is worth 1 point. This will be a very simple mathematical way to award and distinguish these 3 tiers of players. The second thing I will look at is accolades, individual awards, and some team success. I will count MVPs, Offensive Player of the Years, Defensive Player of the Years, Most Improved, and Sixth Man of the Year. An MVP will be worth 5 points, Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year will be worth 3 points each, Most Improved and Sixth Man will be 1 point each. All-Star appearances and Pro Bowl appearances will count for 1 point. For first team All-Pro and NBA, it is 3 points, second team All-Pro and NBA is 2 points, and for All-NBA third team is 1 point. And All-NBA defensive team is 1 point as well. That goes for individual awards. Rookie awards will be redundant and useless as it will equal out for all draft classes. For team awards, I will count it for QBs and for anyone that is clearly a superstar or a top player on that team. For a championship, it counts as 5 points, or a conference finals appearance as 3 points. This is definitely the most math-heavy portion of the rankings, as I do want to truly quantify how successful a certain draft class has been so far. Individual and team awards are the most obvious and tangible measures of success that draft class can show, as it makes sense for me to reward them for it. Lastly, I will look at the potential impact and trajectory of the draft class. This will not be quantified, but it will be a third of my evaluation. From my perspective, how much more successful can this draft class be heading into the future? If I did this series 10 years later, how many more accolades can this draft class produce? Or how many superstars will continue to emerge? How many Hall of Famers or legends will this draft class have in the end? These are all the questions I'm asking and looking at when I'm going through this section. I have 2 draft classes are very close statistically, but I believe that one draft class has more long-term potential as a whole, they will rank higher. This is my chance to add in my own personal opinion to this draft class outside of the math to really decide the rankings. For some context, all draft classes will be ranked from where the players are at right now, where each player is currently in their respective league. For example, someone like Deebo Samuel, who was considered a top 5 wide receiver 2 or 3 years ago, won't be a superstar now. However, with the individual awards, his All-Pro selection will be rewarded to compensate. Other cases similar are able to get points for previous stellar seasons even if that player is not at that level anymore. This season is looking at what the draft class has done before, where they are at now, and how much better they can get. Through this series, I hope to get the full scope of how great these draft classes are now and in the future. So if you are excited to follow this series, make sure to subscribe and leave a like.